Today, we're learning English on the Sydney Harbour Bridge.
Join me as we walk across the most famous bridge in Australia. Get a view of some popular Sydney landmarks, catch a ferry, and explore local spots. Use this video to help train your ears to listen to the Australian accent. We'll also catch some key vocabulary at the top. Try listening without subtitles, but if you need help, enable CC. The Sydney Harbour Bridge is famous all over the world. Do you recognize it? And a lot of people don't know that if you visit Sydney, you can walk or cycle across the bridge. But before going out, I want to share 3 things to prepare before exploring Australia. Number 1, sunscreen and a hat. The UV in Australia is really strong. The sun is very powerful, even on cloudy days. So if you don't want to get sunburned, make sure you prepare. Number 2, prepare a way to pay. Most places in Australia don't accept cash anymore. Some do, but a lot do not. So prepare a credit card. It's the same for transport. When catching the train or a bus, you just tap your card to pay for your ticket. You can use your credit card, or you can buy a separate card, a travel card called an Opal card, which you can only use to pay for transport. So if you don't have a credit card, then make sure you have an Opal card to be able to pay for transport. Number 3, have a real conversation with a local. Whenever I travel, I try to talk to someone from that country. Not just, excuse me, where is the bathroom? But like a real conversation where you can ask for local phrases or just advice on where to visit. But I don't have friends all over the world. So before I travel, I use italki, who is also the sponsor of today's video. italki is an online language learning platform where you get personalized one-on-one lessons with native speaking teachers. Do you want to practice with an Australian? Or maybe you want to speak to someone from the UK. You can choose where your teacher is from and get advice from a real native in your personalized lesson. You can immerse yourself in the language and the culture without being overseas.
The only way to build your confidence is to practice. You're not just practicing generic conversations. We give you the confidence, we help you, build your vocabulary, expand what you already know, and just get used to having those everyday interactions.
I love it because you're not just doing grammar exercises or reading from a book. You're having real conversations, which is how your listening and your speaking will improve. Your teacher gives you real-time feedback, correcting your mistakes, answering your questions, and teaching you new things.
We say Edinburgh.
Edinburgh. Edinburgh.
Edinburgh.
Edinburgh. No subscription is required. You just pay per lesson. So it's a flexible and affordable way to learn. If you want to find a real native speaker to practice with, click the link in the description. If you're new to italki, buy $10 and get $5 off on your first lesson using my promo code Mike26. The discount is only available for the first 50 people. So don't wait, you will miss out. Use it now. A big thank you to italki for sponsoring this video.
We started at Milson's Point. Of course, I took the elevator to get up here. I'm going to be walking for a while, so I skipped the stairs, but now we're walking on the bridge. So we're not under the main part yet, but we're almost there. So we started at the north side of the city. Milson's Point is the north side. And now we're walking south to the CBD. We're walking south. This walk apparently is 1.6 kilometers or about 30 minutes. I don't know if it's really that long. I think I can finish this in less than 30 minutes, but let's see how I go. And of course, let's check out some beautiful sights and landmarks as we go. We actually already have such a nice view of the Opera House. It looks very small in the camera, but in real life it is massive. It's so beautiful. Let's get even closer to the Sydney Opera House. It's a little bit scary. Trains go across the Sydney Harbour Bridge, so you will see trains go across. And whenever a train goes across, the whole bridge just shakes a little bit. It shakes a little bit. So a little scary, but it is very safe. I'm a local in Sydney, so I never come here, but it's so beautiful. Here we go. Now we're on the main section of the bridge, the famous Sydney Harbour Bridge. To our left is the Opera House. We're getting closer, and of course we can see a lot of boats and ferries on the harbour below. Over here, you can actually climb up the bridge. You can climb the bridge. Of course, you can't just go on there by yourself. You need to pay for a special tour. But if you come to Sydney and you want to climb the bridge, you can do it. But if that's a bit scary, then you can just do what I'm doing and walk across the bridge. And this is free. You don't pay anything to do this. This is just a walkway. You just walk across the bridge. So I highly recommend. You don't pay any money to go on the bridge. You just walk across the bridge. It's free. Look at that beautiful harbour view. There's the Opera House. Down here are some boats and some ferries. You can see the ferry is about there, and the ferry is a form of transportation. So later today, we will actually catch a ferry. So instead of walking back across the bridge, when I get to the other side, I'm going to catch a ferry back to where I started so I can go home. So that speedboat down there, it looks like that's for tourists. So that's an experience you can also do in Sydney. You can pay to go on a speedboat like that one, which will take you around the harbour and give you beautiful views of the Sydney Harbour Bridge and, of course, the Opera House. There's a mix of different people on the bridge. There are some people running, there are some tourists just taking photos and getting a very nice view of the city, and just locals like myself walking from the north to the south or the south to the north of the city. I think because I keep looking out at the beautiful water scenery, I keep forgetting to just look up at the bridge itself. It's such wonderful architecture. There's a little cruise boat there called the Captain Cook Cruise. I see that a lot. I think it's a cheaper cruise that you can do around the harbour. I see it a lot. So maybe that's a good one to look at if you want to do a cruise around Sydney Harbour. I think you can have lunch or an afternoon tea on that cruise while it takes you around the harbour. There's definitely a lot of those available, and I highly recommend if you visit Sydney and want to get a closer look at the Opera House or the surrounding areas of Sydney Harbour. Okay, we're getting closer and closer to the CBD, the main city area of Sydney. I feel like this was much shorter than a 30-minute walk. This was actually very easy. It's very flat and the pathway is just straight. So this is a very easy walk. There are people of all ages, young people, older people, so anyone can do this. And like I said, it's free. We're right next to the Opera House now, and down along there is a spot called Opera Bar. So there's a bar along there that you can sit at the Opera House and enjoy some food or drinks with a view of the harbour. And from there, you can see this bridge that we are on right now. And down in there is Circular Quay. That's a ferry station. So we can go there and catch the ferry. It's also a train station, but later today we will catch the ferry from there back to the north side. So you can see all the ferries coming and going from the harbour there. And actually the walking side of the harbour bridge, the side that we can walk on, we have the view of the Opera House. On the other side, you can cycle. So some people will rent a bike, like if you know, like the Lime bikes, those bikes you see all around the city that you can rent with an app. You can rent one of those bikes and cycle on the other side and get a view of the other side. On the other side, you'll get a view of Luna Park, which is a very famous amusement park here in Sydney. It's a big smiling face that I think is kind of creepy, but nevertheless, it's very famous. So I recommend walk on this side, and if you like cycling or riding a bike, cycle on the other side and get both views. I just saw this sign. We're building something new. Bridge Museum opens 27th of May, a world-class immersive experience. It looks like you will be able to go inside this tower and go to the top of the bridge. Ticketing, museum and shop, museum and amenities, and Sky House. Closer and closer to the city. That tower on the right, that is the tower at Barangaroo. I have another video on my channel where we walked around Barangaroo. So that tower might look familiar. That's another nice place to visit in Sydney. So check that video out if you want to see more areas in the city to visit. It's very nearby, so you can walk there from here. If you have a big day of walking, walk across the bridge, walk over to Barangaroo. You can do it all in one day. So that concludes the bridge walk. I'm now in an area called The Rocks. This is a very touristy area in Sydney, but for good reason. There's a lot of history here. There's a lot of things to see. Of course, it's close to the Opera House and close to the Sydney Harbour Bridge. How do I feel after the walk? I feel like it was faster than 30 minutes, but maybe because I was having so much fun. But the walk was really easy. It's not difficult. Anyone can do that walk. I really recommend starting on the north side like I did, and then end on the south side so you can then explore the rocks or elsewhere in Sydney City. What I do need is a coffee, so I'm going to take you to one of my favorite local cafes called Diggy Doos. It's a little bit of a walk, but it's worth walking to. This is a very local spot. Oh, one thing about the bridge, it was very sunny up there. So the tips I mentioned at the start of this video to wear a hat and wear sunscreen, take that very seriously. Definitely slip, slop, slap.
Slip on a shirt, slop on sunscreen and slap on a hat. Slip, slop, slap.
This is a great area to walk around here at the rocks. That's why I think it's good to start on the north side of the bridge if you're starting your day, and then walk to the south side, because you can continue your adventure and explore the rocks, go to Barangaroo, but there's so much here to see. Like, I just walked into this random warehouse. This is actually the lobby of a hotel here at the rocks. I'm not sure what hotel, but they have this public area where you can come and see these art sculptures and some historical pieces about Sydney and learn more about this area. Again, this is totally free. You can just walk in and have a look around. So Diggy Doos is about a 5-minute walk from Circular Quay and the rocks where we were. And if you put it into Google Maps, you're going to get to this spot and think, where is it? You want to look for this sign right here, this coffee sign. So that's what you're looking for. And then we're heading down here into the basement, which will take you through to my favorite cafe. Finished my delicious coffee. Now I'm going to walk back to Circular Quay station and catch the ferry back to the north side of the city at Milsons Point. This is Circular Quay ferry station. As you can see, it has a beautiful view of the Sydney Harbour Bridge. That's where we were walking earlier, but now we want to catch a ferry back to Milsons Point, back to the north side of Sydney. Okay, let's see which wharf. So we want to go to Milsons Point. The next one is at 2:42 on wharf number 4. Okay, just ahead is wharf number 4. This is where our ferry is going to be. And to pay for the ferry, it's the same as the train or the metro. You just tap your Opal card or a credit card. I use a credit card on my phone, so I just tap my phone. Okay, there's our ferry. Milsons Point departs in 9 minutes on side A. Side A. So we're gonna wait down here for the ferry and enjoy the beautiful view of the Sydney Opera House in the background. That was half a day exploring Sydney, Australia at only the cost of a train, a ferry, and a coffee to wake me up. You learned that in Sydney, most people catch the train or a bus, or sometimes even the ferry. But I'm curious, what is the most popular type of transport in your country? Leave a comment and let me know. Great job on making it all the way to the end of the video. visit my channel for more English comprehensible input videos just like this one. And of course, don't forget to like and subscribe to improve your English and explore Australia.